Number 3.
Okay. I'm Nicole and I'll be talking about how to build and maintain and extinguish a fire. To start off building a fire, you want to start with little smaller pieces of, I like to use paper, like the packing paper, and small pieces of wood like this. And I just like to stack it like a little cabin, and then I put the paper in the middle. And then I light it. It's easier with smaller pieces of wood because you have a less surface to mass ratio. And it just allows the fire to ignite quicker. Some people like to put fuel on a fire. I don't recommend that for indoor fires. I mean, campsites are completely fine, but a fireplace like this, you can have major disasters, and I just think it's not as safe. To maintain it, you want to start still smaller. Start putting smaller pieces in first, and then once it gets a decent raging size, then you can start adding bigger pieces like this. It should be relatively fine.
Can I see that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but pieces like this are fine for the fire. I recommend if it's going to be winter time in your state and you know it's kind of cold. I'm from Arizona, so I'm not used to this coldness. If you do buy firewood, buy it in bulk. At the peak of summer, you usually get smaller, you get more wood for the amount you're going to pay instead of going to the gas station. Like this one was $3, $4, $15. And I think if you buy a cord, it's around $200, I believe so. But yeah, if you're in a state like this, kind of prepare ahead of time. It's nicer. And if you have a fireplace like ours, it's better on your budget. To extinguish a fire when you're done with it, I recommend putting the ashes or dirt on your fire. Like if it's an indoor fire, I recommend that, just so you don't get that smoke. If it's outdoor, I usually just pour water on it. But then again, if you have access to a shovel and dirt, you can put that on it as well.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you know when it's extinguished?
A good one would be when you put dirt, like if you're using dirt, put dirt on it. Once it's done smoking, kind of sift through it with a stick and make sure there's no like embers in there, just so you have that less of a hazard in case you guys leave and something does happen. The wind blows ember into some dry grass and you got yourself a full-on wildfire.
Oh, okay.
How big do you want your wood when you chop it down? About how big would you say?
I would say the size of, I think like a bulk of celery, if that makes any sense.
Bulk of celery. Okay.
Yes, about that size, just because it's easier. Like, I think we got ours, they were about this size. You can just cut that in half. It should be good to start your fire.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
If your fire is starting to die out and you want to keep it going, what should you do?
Start putting smaller pieces in if it's dying out. Just stack it so that there's enough airflow to get that fire going again. Then once it's going again, you can add your relatively bigger sizes of wood.
Alright.
How would you recommend not to build a fire?
I would recommend try not to just stack them all in one, or try not to pour any sort of fuel in it, like gasoline or I don't know. Some people try to put paper in there, like regular just printer paper, and that just it lights up too fast, and it doesn't allow like the fire or to ignite your piece of wood. So it's just too fast of a fire, and it won't ignite. But usually people do try to put fuel in it just because they want that fire going quicker. So don't do that.
One more question. So if you have a fire inside, why can't you just let it burn out and go to bed?
It's pretty much safety reasons why you can't do that. If there was a piece of, I don't know, one of these that just jumped out and you got all this carpet here and you're going to bed, you wouldn't really realize it until the smoke goes all the way up the stairs and you're stuck on the top floor. So I wouldn't recommend going to bed and letting it burn down. I would just recommend kind of dispersing them in there and then allowing them to either settle and get done burning, or you can smother it. That would be a good reason too.
Any more questions?
Is there anything like in your house that would be good for using as kindling or starting of the fire?
We just moved, so we had a bunch of packing paper. I'd recommend maybe cardboard, like old notebook cardboard that you get. Stuff like this. If you have a bunch of those lying around, that should be easier to get the fire going, just because it'll hold it longer.
Okay.
But yeah, if there's not any more questions, then that concludes my little speech.